Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Let's talk about dot dot dot, where the thing we're talking about comes after the dot dot dot. And today that means we're talking about okay, so the topic of today's video is a little bit mixed. I wrote a few words down, kind of on like just life and existence, suffering. I also put down here the pain of loving and letting go, that kind of thing. And I'm going to try something a little different with this video. I've been working on like scripting things, and it's kind of hard to either say the things I want to say on video or have them scripted and written down, because either I'm looking down every 5 seconds to check the script, or I'm, you know, kind of disorganized and I don't actually say most of the things that I want to say. So it's kind of hard to find a middle ground. Today I'm just going to be like kind of reading off of the script and trying to acknowledge the camera as much as I can, but I think a script really is important, but I just need to find a, I just need to find a good way to integrate the script into the recording somehow. So I'm trying something new this time. Just bear with me. Okay, so sorry, this is a little poetical. So if anyone doesn't like that, I guess now's your time to leave. um, Okay. I hold on to the life I have yet lived, only for the assurance that I might be able to offer aid and care for my loved ones in hard times, knowing all the while that this inevitably causes deeper sorrow at my eventual passing. And yet it seems impossible that the more loving action would be to keep a distance and never lend helping hand nor comforting shoulder. Indeed, the latter oft is used in describing the most distant and secluded relatives, barely even befitting the description of family. And yet I envy their cold-hearted abandon in a strange way. Those who see in others tears and offer not even the minor courtesy of a kind word. A cruel comparison, perhaps, as one is not necessarily the absence of empathy, but rather the absence of being physically present or of communication, and vice versa. And yet the cruelest fact in all of this is being gripped by these painful and torturous thoughts in the first place. Yeah, some thoughts around that. Uh, I mean, of course, this isn't the first time I've thought like this, but I don't know. Like, I mean, that is the truth of it, though, right? The people we love the most, we want to help take care of. But in doing so, that means that when we're gone, they miss us all the more because we were there all the time and we were showing our love for them. That then, when we're gone, of course, it makes that whole, even bigger and more devastating when that happens. Like I said, this sucks because it's like I love my family. I love being able to help them. I love being there for them. I want to always be able to help them as much as I can and in every situation. Especially my nieces and nephews as they're growing up. I want to always be there for them, to guide them when they need help, any kind of assurance or, anything. I want to be there for them. And yet I know that one day I won't be. And of course, that will be, just due to natural circumstance, obviously. Um, and when that happens, all the times that I were there makes the times that I'm not even more painful. And I mean, again, that's kind of the reason for the videos, because then in that instance, then they can just come here and, of course it's not the same, but, of course if you're here, I love you guys so much, and I really do hope you're doing well, and I'm so sorry, I really am. I, you know, I want to ease as much pain as I can. I don't want there to be any kind of pain when I'm gone. Like, if nobody missed me when I'm gone, that would be the greatest thing. That would be the one thing I could wish for, that nobody weeps for me, that nobody feels pain when I'm gone. I hate pain. I don't want other people to feel that, especially not just because I'm not here. Fuck it, man. Go have a beer. Go enjoy a beautiful sunset. Forget about me. Let me rest in the past and just keep on carrying on without me. And I know how ridiculous those words are, which again is why this topic is like kind of near and dear and like sad to my to who I am, and it's never really far from my mind, I guess you could say. Okay, I guess we'll keep going. Now, I spent a long time wishing I could go back in time to see my younger self and warn him. Tell him all the things in the world that are important and that no one else would or did tell him. That thought is never a happy one, and eventually I realized I can do something better. I can share my words, and in doing so, at least I hope, I can help those in similar situations to mine, or just anyone who wishes to hear them. So yeah, again, I mean, the only way we can share things with each other really is through, I mean, some form of communication or another. Even giving someone something is saying, here, you can have this, in some sense of that. And the world is a difficult place, and I mean, a lot of times, even just hearing the words of someone in a similar situation can help you to feel like validated in what's happening to you, or something that happened in the past and you still haven't been able to work through yet. So, yeah, I really do hope I can make some kind of impact with this at least. So yeah, like I said, in a way, I see it as being better than being able to go back and talk to myself, because instead of helping one person and myself, like, I can help so many other people, if the words are helpful to them, I suppose, which is up to them to decide, ultimately. But yeah, I always wished I had found something out sooner, and I think we all have been there. Wish we could go back and correct the record, set ourselves straight. But yeah, that's the worst thing. Time just goes in the one direction. We don't get a second chance. I mean, except if you want to count the future, which, I mean, there's an argument there, both sides, I suppose. Yeah. So I guess let's just keep going with this then. Um, when I was young, I had so many dreams, and in this aspect, I'm referring to like kind of like careers, and yeah. So I had so many dreams, I could scarcely hold on to them all, and I had a new one almost every time somebody asked the question, "What do you want to do / be when you're older?" And it seems an innocent question at first, but it does demand an answer. And more important than that, it demands an answer at least similar in some respect to the answers of your peers. And I answer that question in a lot of different ways, often picking a choice that yielded a high income. I remember my choices for a while were like plumber and lineman and electrician and stuff like that, just because they pay so much. And that was growing up in a capitalist economy. That's pretty much what you're taught. Get a good career. You gotta make a lot of money if you want to be happy. You gotta get that big check. And it's such a poisonous message. I mean, I go into it a little bit more, but like the idea that you have to earn so much money to be happy, or that rather the idea that money should be able to buy you happiness. Not that it can't, right? But the idea that there are some people who believe that it should be able to, that's disgusting to me. Okay, I'm fine with it buying items, but fucking, you stop right there if you fucking want to be able to buy happiness. No. We need to stop making happiness a commodity, because that makes it not available to everyone, obviously, because there's some people who can't afford it. Like, I completely disagree with that kind of an idea. Um, but yeah, none of the careers I chose, or I said, I think I want to do this, I actually really wanted to do. It's just, I know they pay good. I think I could do that. Yeah, sure, why not? um, yeah. Now, welder, I actually did take a couple years of that in high school, and I thought about being a welder for a while, but doing it as a class, I realized how much I would hate it as a job. I realized how much I loved welding, and yet I knew I would despise it doing it 8 hours, 10 hours a day, because it is hell. I mean, you're sitting there, in all your garb to protect you, and I mean, the heat, it builds up quick. It builds up pretty quick. Not to mention, I mean, you're dealing with all kinds of like fumes and gases, and you got like ventilators and stuff to help with that. But there's always a little risk there. And yeah, so I just figured I'd put that in my back pocket if I ever want to do some 3D art or something. It was super fun. Like I said, I loved welding, but I knew I'd hate doing it for pay. To be doing it as a job, it would be awful. Yeah. Um, so when I was like kind of having these thoughts, that's when like my real dreams actually started shifting. I took an art class in ninth grade, and from then on I wrote here I was a slave to the act of creation, which is kind of true in some ways. Like, I mean, the making a piece of art, or I don't even limit myself to art. I make all kinds of stuff. Like I said, I'm working on some sewing projects right now. I've done a couple building projects in the past. Those are always fun. Yeah, just making something. The act of taking like some kind of raw material and fashioning it into a tool, or a piece of art, anything. I mean, it's an amazing feeling. It's it's super good. So like I said, from then on I was kind of a slave to that, where it's like there's always something I want to make. I'm always sketching up a design for something, or making a piece of art, or working on one of the designs that I've already sketched out. So, hey, so I was about to start editing, and I realized there was another part I wanted to throw in on the like dreams piece of this. When I was younger, I actually really wanted to make YouTube videos, and so I wanted to mention this in here as well. This is part of my dream coming true. This is part of what I was talking about in that moment. Is yeah, finally feeling free enough to actually speak my voice and not be, terrified of what people might say or think about that. Um, Finally coming out of my shell, and saying, I exist in the world, and that's okay. Maybe I'll share what I think. Maybe I'll share my words. And, you know, like I said, it is so freeing. This is another piece that goes into the creation like kind of thing as well, where it's like making these videos is legitimately like just so much fun. It's I'm always thinking of new ideas and jotting something down in a notebook to think about later. And like I said, it's so much fun, and this has been a dream since I was a kid. So finally, actually doing it was, I mean, it's been so freeing, and yeah. So if you're watching, thanks for watching. Um, but yeah, I mean, just making the videos in the first place is, it's like a painting. It's something I can put out there, and it's made, and I made it, and it feels good, even if the product isn't the top of the line, or even if I'm not anything really spectacular. It's still it still feels good. It still feels good to me. So but I do hope you guys enjoy as well. That is a major, definitely a major component of making this, is I do want to actually share my words, and have people that appreciate them. Okay, note over. So back on with the rest of the video. Bye bye. Yeah, like I said, slave to the act of creation. I would say that is a very apt description of it, which I guess is why I wrote it. So I'll probably cut this out, maybe. I'll think about it. Anyway, I began dreaming of being or wanting to be an artist. I had a lot of dreams about this, well, not like dreams, but I had a lot of like daydreams where I'd sit there and I'd think of what an awesome world it would be, where I could get paid to to make things, where I could get paid to sit there and do art. And then, uh, thoughts like this came in, but artists don't make much money. What if your art is no good and nobody buys it? Most prominent artists only gain their greatest notoriety like after they're dead, or all their paintings are sold for millions after they're in the grave. It's stuff like that. These are the dark, creeping, ruinous thoughts that only plague a world ruled by money. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole world, really. That's the world with humans. It's ruled by money. I get that. But, like, look around at all the other animals. Do they fucking bicker about getting paid? No, they fucking find something to eat. They, go do their business. They go to sleep. They wake up and repeat the next day. I don't know why humans had to complicate it so much. And yet I do understand that it is, mostly tied to the higher capability of it, the like thought mostly. I don't know. It's seen as an intelligence thing, but like intelligent in what way? Like, yeah, you might do good on a math test, but do you think you'd survive very well in a situation that another animal survives in? No. So why would you ask it to do a math test if you can't also do the thing that it can do? Do you see how this is? It's just a ridiculous way of thinking. I'm smarter than you, so that means I'm better. No, that just means you're different in a way that is advantageous for certain things. That doesn't make you a better animal. It just means you're different. Like every animal is, and that's the beautiful thing about animals. And yet humans want to be better than animals, and that is the thing that I hate about humans, is the non-recognition of the fact that we are exactly the same as the stuff around us. We want to be better than them, so when we put one in a cage, it doesn't seem as cruel, I guess. That's one way of thinking about it, I suppose. Yeah, a world ruled by money, where the only things worth doing are the ones with the highest paycheck attached. Yeah. And I actually got a high-paying job for a while. I was working in a factory, and I didn't mind it at first. I was like, man, this is easiest job I've ever worked. This is great. I get to, like just zone out, do the work. I get paid a good check. I go in this and that. But I realized I was just like a shell of an organism at that point. Existing in the monotony of like work, sleep, repeat, just over and over. And the monotony that everyone's familiar with at this point of just am I living to work or am I working to live? Like, what the fuck is this? So long story short, I did eventually quit, and that was a few months ago now. Yeah, I sat around for quite a while. Of course I had money saved up, so I just let myself take some time off. And, I did a lot of thinking over that time, obviously. Because, when you're just sitting around, watching TV is more than just watching TV, okay? If you aren't thinking at some point while you're watching TV, even like during the credits or when a piece of music's rolling, you should be. Come on, it's fun. You get to like try and think about what's happening in the show or relate what's happening to the show and the characters in it to what you've been through at some point in your life, or think about what it would be like to be these characters in some kind of respect. It makes it more fun. Like I said, it is very enjoyable, or at least it is for me. Yeah, so anyway, over time, I did a lot of thinking, and I finally started to acknowledge like my dreams. And I finally kind of took it upon myself to like follow them, wherever they might lead. Hold on, wait, no, sorry. I have it written as, and I made it my will to follow them to the best of my ability, no matter the outcome, no matter where they may lead me. And most importantly of all, without giving a shit about how much my dreams are paying me, because at the end of the day, my happiness and well-being are more than enough in terms of compensation. And, yeah, it is. It's true. That is true. It's not like I make it. I barely have any money, but I'm happy because of the things that I do that fulfill me more than the money would. Even though I was making so much at my old job, and I should have been able to afford things that would, can be construed as happiness, right? I didn't because I had no time to do those things. I didn't have time to do any of the things that I love, like making art either. Like I said, I felt like a shell of an organism. 2 days off, dead tired when I get home, wake up right before I have to go to work. Fucking awful. Even though I had plenty of money and I didn't have to worry about that. It was a shitty existence. And, even though I do kind of worry about money a lot right now, I'm happier, genuinely, because I'm actually me. I get to be the person who I want to be. I don't have to be, locked inside my head for 8 hours, 9 hours, a shift per day, and then come home, be tired, hungry, have to do all these other bazillion things before I have a chance to do the things that I find, fulfilling. It sucks. And, of course, I am, the money does have to come from somewhere else, and that means, oh yeah, and I am lucky enough to be like in good working health and be able to afford my living expenses with a part-time job. So that's kind of the thing. Is it's like I've got so much like I hate having, it sucks that so many things come down to privilege in life, and it is very much a privilege to be able to afford living on a part-time job. Like, no, many people like couldn't even like it's impossible for them, and it breaks my fucking heart. Like it's awful. I hate it so much. It used to be a lot different, but when they don't necessarily keep the minimum wage going up with inflation, then it doesn't really work too well when you're still making the minimum wage after 20 years. Yeah. Also, when they do finally raise the minimum wage, then everyone blames that for the reason of inflation, like it hasn't been here the whole fucking time. Like, and those fucking stimulus checks, blaming those too. It's like, the government is like giving out money all the time in the forms of like grants, scholarships, all kinds of other stuff. But now, all of a sudden, because they said they want to forgive some college debt, or they want to give a stimulus check for the lockdown, because there were a lot of people not working, and that was genuinely a godsend of money for some people. No, that's the reason where you pay fucking $3.50 to $4 at the gas pump. Oh, it's ridiculous. But no, I mean, we live in an economy. That means there's a lot of things, being bought and sold and paid for. So there's a lot of different ways everything's kind of being pulled, and especially when the world's in a lot of turmoil, that means you might pay a little more in gas. And no, it's not the fucking president's fault. He doesn't have a button on his desk that says change gas prices. Like, God, it fucking drives me nuts when people try and make that argument. Fucking, oh God. Okay. But yeah, like I said, I am so fortunate to be able to just pay for my living with just like a part-time job, and have all my other time to do hobbies and stuff. Being a single guy, like, I mean, I like I don't accrue many expenses, so yeah, like I said, it is very easy. It'd be a much different story if I was, married, if I had a family, if I was taking care of a relative. Like, there's so many things that, like, would dramatically impact that. And, like I said, I mean, it makes me so, so sad for everyone else. Because as much as I abhor the life I live, and I hold on to precious happiness when possible, there's so many people who live their whole lives selling their time for the ever precious commodity of money. And if they were to leave their job like I did, they would be left destitute. you know, so they have to just kind of remain in misery. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I've heard it at jobs where these people are just stuck there for like 10 years making, like, scraping a living by with these just awful low paying jobs because it's all they have. And it's, God, it sucks. Oh, it drives me nuts. And it sucks because I'm stuck down here at the bottom with everybody else. I want everything to change. And it's like the only thing I can do is try and shout louder, you know, try and make the, you know, the world listen a little bit. Of course, it's nighttime now, so I will try and keep the yelling down, you know, just for my neighbors and whatnot. Yeah, so now, here's the thing. This part, just bear with me for a minute. So, at the same time, however, should every worker appreciate themselves more as an organism and demand a freedom from the shackles of labor and money, all at once, everybody, all at once, then the system is stopped and requires mending and complete reformation before it can function once again. And not for the betterment of the lone individual, but for every single, unique, distinct, beautiful organism to be allowed to thrive to their highest potential. And yet I know that this is simply a ridiculous impossibility. So then, I suppose I'll let myself hold on to it with the rest of the impossible things that we call dreams. And that was all I kind of had written here. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of how I feel about it, you know, because there are a lot of things in my life that I do see as impossible, and I do throw them in the dream basket, you know, because this is where I've kind of like shifted to the, you know, dream as in like more outcome for life. It, you know, like a more like looking for like a path of events, or like a more kind of like a goal, I guess you could say. And nothing really to do with a career. I don't know. I stopped thinking about that a while ago because so long as you're earning money, I mean, there's like, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, so long as you have a form of money, there is, you know, there it is. I don't know. I'm not. And I know a lot of people will say this is because I'm young and stupid or whatever, but you know, I'm not entirely concerned with the saving this and that for when I'm ancient and this. I'm not saying don't save your money. I fully stand by saving your money, and I do save my money. But I'm simply saying that, like, that isn't the end goal. That isn't the one thing to be concerned about. And if it is, maybe just reconsider. Just think about it a little more, and you might come to another conclusion. You know, you might work it through the process, and see that it isn't exactly the most important thing in life. You know, being happy and fulfilled is, even even though I know that, again, saying that is extremely privileged, and there are so many people who legitimately would if they could. So yeah, kind of. I'm sorry for that. You know, I hope it was, you know, at least tolerable in some kind of respect. And I do hope you guys enjoyed it. I actually have an Instagram account now and a Threads account. So if you guys want to follow me over there, you can find me. It's the same as the channel name. So let's with apostrophe s. You know, so let's talk about dot dot dot. And I think the handle for it is let's dash talk dash about dash etc. So yeah, you can go follow me on there. I post, or I'll be posting some stuff on there. I made a post about a piece of artwork I made recently, and I'll probably just kind of goof around when I feel like it, I guess. Yeah, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, there is a button down there for that. There's also a subscribe button if you'd like to see more of my future content, and there's also a comment section if you'd like to comment about the video. And yeah, I guess that about does it. So just keep on existing, and I will see you in the next one.